recording. Hello, everybody. This is Megan with P4Plexus Diaries, and today we have Rachel Watkins with us. She's a senior Ruby, right? Senior Ruby?
Yes.
Awesome.
Senior Ruby.
Yay!
Crazy.
And so then today we're talking a little bit more about like the athletic side of Plexus and how Plexus can actually really help people who are looking to get in shape, maybe people who are in shape and are looking to get even more fit, just to kind of cover the athletic side and the fitness side of how Plexus can be helpful. So basically, like the first question that I have for you is, so Rachel, how did you find out about Plexus? Like how did that enter into your life?
Well, I first started searching for a more plant-based, without fillers, without chemicals, without dyes, without the artificial sugar supplement line after using some local area supplements that my husband had kind of directed me towards. For the last several years, I've been training for some local runs. I wasn't a runner growing up. I was actually a competitive optional level gymnast, club gymnast, and that's kind of my history into fitness. So I started around 4 years old, I believe, and then in high school had some injuries that required a lengthy time off. So it was kind of a road of where do I go from here? Do we go more the rehab the injuries and then collegiate gymnastics, or, kind of reevaluate the whole situation. So I ended up stopping gymnastics and went the more cheerleading. I was in color guard, marching band. So athletics, fitness has always kind of been in my upbringing. I mean, it was 5 to 6 days a week, basically all that I can remember growing up at the gym. So being a gymnast, I wasn't exposed to supplements. It wasn't something that at that time was really big. So I kind of got my exposure from my husband. So going back to these races, after I had both my children, a friend of mine and I were like, hey, let's start training for some local area races, road races. I had never been a runner. I had never actually run over 2 miles at a time. So our first race that we did, our first child was, I think, 7 months old. So it was in 2009. And it was a 4-mile race, and we just slowly built up to it, and it kind of like ignited a bug that like we haven't been able to shake. So we've been running ever since, which has been awesome, and just a whole community, in the running group. It's amazing. And so there's this local race in downtown Syracuse. I'm in Syracuse, New York, and it's 10 hills and 10 miles, and it's psychotic. And several years ago, if you finished under 90 minutes, you received a bronze medal. If you finished under 80 minutes, you received a silver medal, and under 70 minutes, which is incredible, a gold medal. And so after I think 2 years of running that race, I'm like, hey, Christina, like let's try to get under 90. And she is just a God-given runner, so she really had to push me. So we worked and worked at it. 2 more years, still wasn't getting under 80 minutes, or not under 90 minutes, sorry, for that bronze medal. And so my husband, seeing my frustration and all of the training that you do, leading up to this huge race, he's like, you really, with what you're burning and what you're putting your body through, you really need to be supplementing the nutrients that you're burning and the calories and the proteins and all of that. So growing up, he was in baseball and football, and had the exposure in high school to like the proteins and the vitamin packs and creatine, pre-workout kind of pumped things, and I knew nothing. So it was, I believe, in 2014, and it was January, so new 2014, we went to a local area shop and, just talked to the people that were working there, let them know like what we were looking for, what my goals were with the running endurance, leaning out, that kind of thing. And we had a 2-year-old, our second child at that point, so I had baby weight that I wanted to lose in addition to all of this. But so kind of fast forward through that training season, and it was actually 2 years ago, May, that race was, and met my goal, like by the skin of my teeth. And it was so funny because it's just how life goes. That year, they actually stopped all of the medaling, and everyone got participation medals. So I'm like, are you kidding me? But, it's the way life goes. But still a little check mark. I finished under 90, so that was amazing. But at the same time, like, I was feeling horrible. I had actually put on weight, put on like bloat. Like I said, I still had baby weight that I'd hoped the training season was going to enable me to lose, but I'd actually gotten to the point where I was the most heavy that I was even not being pregnant. Like the heaviest I'd ever been not pregnant, if that makes sense, because obviously during my pregnancies I got the biggest. So cravings out of control. My daughter was 2, stopping napping. So I was not a happy camper that I was counting down from the moment I woke up until bedtime, in between, pots of coffee. And caffeine, soda, sweets. I was forgoing meals and saying to myself, well, these 4 cookies are the same calories as like a sandwich and an apple and some vegetables. My cravings were just for sweets and sugar, out of control. So one day I was like, let me look at these supplements. Like, what in the world is in this? So I don't know what sparked that, but I'm like, oh, okay, so sucralose and all these chemicals and all of these words I can't pronounce, and nothing is natural, nothing is real, nothing is, plants. So that's what kind of spun me into, there's got to be something better out there, but in the same, like health and wellness supplement kind of line. So I am a nurse, though my background, I have my bachelor's in nursing education, but from the time of graduating, I've been in neonatal intensive care nursing. So nothing adult, nothing nutrition, this was all new to me as far as researching supplement ingredients. I looked into a lot of different companies, products, and 2 friends of mine, a husband and a wife, they 2 years ago in May started posting pictures of themselves, and they look like models, this pink drink, and talking about energy with the wife, and they have 4 children, and she's a stay-at-home mom, and just energy all day, no longer napping, no longer needing soda, control of her cravings, things like that. So I'm like, girl, what are you doing? Like, and why am I not doing it?
Where do I get that?
Yeah. So she told me the company's name, Plexus Worldwide, gave me a little information about the products, and being the nurse and having gone through what I just had with all of those products and kind of backstepping, with where I wanted to be. I mean, I was working out like a crazy person, like 5 and 6 days a week, not losing that weight, like clothes fitting tighter, bowel habits horrible. So she gave me a couple of the products, ingredients, and I just dove in, looking up each of the ingredients, where they were sourced from, what plant it came from, what its job in the body was, long-term use, things like that. Discussed this a lot with my husband. He had personal goals that, he wanted to achieve as well. He's a police officer, so physical fitness is very, it's mandatory in his line of business. So, we kind of thought about the whole thing, and we're like, okay, like I'll jump in as a wholesale ambassador. We'll get our products the cheapest way possible. And it kind of snowballed that first month. Like our results were just so amazing that our second month we couldn't help talk and share about it. So that's kind of where we are now. Almost 2 years later, we started our products. We joined on July 31st of 2014, and basically started sharing about it in September, because our first month of product use was August. So it's been an amazing journey. I have lost 10 pounds, but a lot of it is just, if you look at pre-Plexus pictures, right before we started, I had a very round face, huge dark circles, and like I said, I was drinking cherry Coke, huge cherry Coke addiction, coffee, multiple cups a day, and just sleeping horrible, all those things, so like bad things, gut health related issues. So I have lost about 12 inches all over, which is just amazing.
Wow.
And what was the most incredible is I did not change any of my fitness things. I do a lot of like high intensity interval training, in addition to well, I guess like coinciding the running. I just run 3 days a week when I'm in a training season. When I'm not, I kind of go back to like the interval things. Work out at home. I am basically at home with my 3-year-old. She's almost 4, and then we have a 2nd grader. So, you know, time for things is very, very limited. So with my workouts, I probably even work out less than I was pre-Plexus and have even more physical results, like the toning, the trimming, the body inch loss, the weight loss. And within the first 4 months probably is when I kind of got to where my goal was. You know, I wanted to lose that 10 pounds that I had put on, but I maintaining since then, which is tremendous, because typically, you know, you go up and down during the holiday seasons, and then, you know, beach season's coming up, so you want to work, but it's just been level ever since. So,
and what products do you take? Like, and how does that, what have you been taking? And
okay. So currently, I'll kind of go with currently, being an ambassador and being that we are business builders. The commission has so much gave us freedom to kind of dabble in a lot of the products. When we first started out, we both just used Slim for the first 2 months, the core product, the pink drink. And then we integrated in the X Factor, the multivitamin, integrated in the gut health products a couple months later, the Probio 5 and the BioCleanse. So where I am now is every morning I'll get up and I'll mix and drink my Plexus Slim, and I will take the X Factor, the multivitamin capsules. I will take, I kind of alternate months between Boost and Accelerator, just for the different effects on metabolism. And if while I'm in race season, I will definitely make sure I'm using Boost. I love that for pre-long runs. It's just awesome, the sustained energy, the kick that I get from that. So right now my race season's over, and so I'm using Accelerator now. So I personally only use 1 Accelerator capsule, and I take 1 Ease capsule. With my history of gymnastics, I have a lot of aches and pains. When I was in high school, it was actually vertebrae fractures that I had experienced. So back pain, you know, all through college, early marriage, all of that. And so the Ease capsules have been incredible with the glucosamine and chondroitin and all of that that's in there, the pain relieving and anti-inflammatory properties of it. So then, you know, I just go about the rest of my day, and the next, we love the P96 for post-workout, and I love them as breakfast. I'll try to buff them up with either fruits or vegetables, coconut milk, almond milk. And then at bedtime, I personally use, I'll take another Ease capsule at bedtime. I take Mega X and Probio 5. So those are the products that I personally use.
Okay. And then in terms of, like, so you mentioned that when you're doing training and you're running, that you take the Boost because it gives you that extra kick that you're talking about, and you'll kind of go back and forth between Accelerator and Boost. And that's actually something that I hear a lot of people who are interested in it for improving fitness, you know, goals that they may have, that they're curious about Boost versus Accelerator. So let me ask, like, in your opinion, because the Boost is a thermogenic, which essentially raises your core temperature, which means that your metabolism kind of revs up.
Yeah.
What would you say? Because a lot of times I'll tell people, all right, so if you're like working out a lot, or you've got a server job where you're on your feet all day or something, Boost would probably be a good idea. Otherwise, maybe look up Accelerator. What do you think like really affects your workout the most? Is it like the Boost or the Accelerator, or like what's really, you think, if you could pick one thing that really is important for you?
I love both products. I really do. And that's why I alternate between the two versus sticking with one for, they say about 6 months should be the max. Instead of just sticking with one and then taking a month break and then sticking with one for another chunk of time, I tend to do, 2-month intervals, 2 months on one product, take a couple weeks break, switch over to the other, because they work differently in the body. Different plant-based ingredients, different effects on metabolism. So you never really get to a place where your body gets complacent and like used to what you're doing. So I love Boost during, like I said, during my training season and for my long runs, because it is a thermogenic, like you said. And I experience a little bit more of a kick, or a boost, if you will, before my really tough workouts, before my really long runs. But when I ended up switching over just recently over to Accelerator, I majorly noticed a difference. I'm like ravenous the first 2 weeks, and I'm like, oh, there's my metabolism getting kicked up in a different way. So I have to be careful because I'm like, I'm not allowed to eat everything that's not nailed down. So
Right.
I definitely, I make sure I have, good snacks instead of other terrible things. So I want to get back into that habit. But, there's because supplements, our body chemistry is so different. So supplements, suggesting them, using them, it's kind of trial and error to figure out what's going to work best for your body. And, to find a combination of products or one product. I mean, I have friends that are still, 6, 8, 10 months in, just using Plexus Slim and still having tremendous benefits. All of the non-scales and still small increments in the measurable on the scale and with tape measure. So everybody's different. So it's just trying to find what your body specifically needs.
And one thing you spoke to, I think, is an important thing that's different about Plexus from a lot of other supplement lines out there, is that you mentioned that you were looking for something that was specifically plant-based.
Mm-hmm.
So there are a lot of products out there, that might have whey or might, like you've seen, I can't name names because I don't want to, any other brands, but, they might have other stuff. Like you said, maybe I can't pronounce that, or it's, I don't really know what's in this.
Mm-hmm.
So let me ask, like, why specifically plant-based? Like, why does that word kind of speak to you?
Well, because we were using chemicals, and it's kind of like the catchphrase now, like organic, certified organic, non-GMO. We're kind of getting back to the, like, growing a garden and just whole foods. So why shouldn't your supplements be the same? So that kind of drove me. And, we want to be role models for our children. We don't want to get them into a habit of eating bad or seeing their parents, but we're not letting them, like, we eat whatever we want, but we don't let them, we want to be the role models for them. So, like we said, like, our family, we're just so fitness and exercise oriented. Even our kids, they're so busy. My daughter's in gymnastics already, our son lacrosse and baseball and basketball. So we just wanted every aspect of what we're putting in our body to be the best that it can be. So I was sure that there was a supplement line, and there's several, but what led me more towards the reason we chose Plexus was the most plant-based ingredients. And I loved that the ingredient label was right on the website. That was huge for me. I didn't have to specifically go to someone or call or, say, hey, like, is there a way I can find out what's in your product specifically so I can look them up? They're right there on the website. So that was, the ease of that was like huge for me, huge. Mm-hmm. So yeah.
And so then in terms of, I'm trying to think of a good way to put this. So we talked about, like, supplements and how that's going to help you with running. I was going to ask you, so this is just one specifically. This is a little off topic, but kind of not. I think a lot of people who are specifically athletes, they think about, how can I boost my performance? How can I really boost, like, I'm going to sprint really fast and go work really hard, get all the muscles. But I don't think a lot of people think about their recovery. And you mentioned about Plexus Ease, and that's actually something that I've started taking for some of the respiratory issues that I have, as well as I've sprained both of my ankles and my knees in the past. And, it's like I take it on a regular basis just to help with respiratory and with recovery. Have you tried anything else in terms of recovery for your workouts? And is it any different from taking Ease? Like, what's the difference between what you tried?
Well, the Ease, what it actually is for is to replace the over-the-counter synthetic non-steroidal anti-inflammatories. Again, I don't want to name any brands. Right. So I loved that there was a product that could replace those synthetics that I was taking, that my husband, that we chronically, 4 pills, there you go, it's in the morning, now I can move. But I love the fact too, yes, it's entirely plant-based, but it is so saturated with glucosamine and chondroitin, which our body craves and needs as we get older. So already, in a way, almost being proactive. So I love that. So As far as recovery, we definitely use the P96. My husband and I both. If we work out, he'll come home from work and do his run in the basement on our treadmill and do some weightlifting. When he comes up, he actually uses the P96 with just water so that it still maintains just the 96 calories, but he's getting that awesome 15 grams of protein and all the vitamins and mineral properties that are in it as well. So I love it as my breakfast. I tend to do my runs, my workouts, things like that in the morning. And instead of just mixing it with water, I've never done that, so I'm not sure how it tastes, but I'm sure he's used some awful products before. So, I mean, the 96 is amazing, wonderful protein. But love both the chocolate and vanilla, but I'll buff up the vanilla one with, like I said, fruits, make a nice smoothie. My kids actually share it with me. I'll make it for them in the car, on the carpool. We'll just make a big one and I'll split it 3 ways. Or the chocolate one with some PB2 powder in it, the powdered peanut butter, it tastes like a Reese's Cup, seriously. So if you have that like chocolate craving in the morning, I mean, there's your breakfast shake. It's so good, the chocolate. So we use that as recovery, but then just for long-term, every single day, that Plexus Ease. The Ease capsules. The cream is amazing too. Like, I ran a half marathon this past winter in January, and I like slathered the Ease cream all over myself before my leggings, and then taking the hot shower after, Ease cream all over my legs, for the recovery. And even the cream has that glucosamine and chondroitin in it, so it's maximizing the inside outside benefits. Just amazing products.
Okay, so then this is like my favorite question, because everybody has a different answer, and it's just my favorite. So if you could only pick one product that's your favorite Plexus product, or like if you could only have one product for the rest of your life,
oh gosh,
and why?
Goodness. I always say that I have 2 favorite products, but if I have to narrow them to one, oh my goodness. Honestly, and this might come as a shock, love my pink drink. Love it. And it's the core product for a reason. I love Mega X. I love it. My kids take it. I brought it to our pediatrician, being a neonatal intensive care nurse. We actually had reps come talk to us about DHA supplement, omega supplement during pregnancy to help with fetal and eye brain development during pregnancy. So there was a product on the market that a formula company had created for both of my pregnancies, and I took that, but it's only one omega. I think it's omega-3. And so I took the product label to our pediatrician, and she was dumbfounded, because at first she was like, you have to be really careful about omegas in children, because you really never know the mercury content from the fish oil that's in there, even though they say it's at safe levels. Like, she's like, you really never know. And I was like, oh, but look, it's all plant-based. And she was like blown away. So she's like, absolutely, your kids can take that. So my husband, both our children, I take it, love Mega X. Love it. Long-term for your brain, for your eyes as we get older, the kids for their brain, and I keep saying those things, but cardiovascular health as we get older, but also that omega-3 that's in it. It's omega-3, 6, 9, 5, and 7, which is crazy that it's all those omegas. But the omega-3 is actually during the day a serotonin booster, so a little bit of a mood booster, but then it helps at bedtime with your REM cycles, getting into REM sleep, so it actually helps some that have issues with staying asleep at night or really getting into deep sleep with those cycles. So my daughter was not a good sleeper, and I would love to say it's because of the Mega X. I mean, who knows? She is getting older now, so sleeping through the night, it might just be the timing of everything. But I definitely sleep better, definitely. So Mega X, I would probably say, is my favorite product.
Well, for good reason, though. I mean, it's a great product, and that's again, no one else has picked any product that the other person before them has, which is why I love this question.
Yeah, awesome.
Everybody has different reasons for loving it, and so yeah. Awesome. Well, thank you so, so much, Rachel. I really appreciate you taking the time to chat with me today in your busy schedule.
Yes, thank you for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, everybody, if you have any questions, email me at p4plexus@gmail.com. And I'll, of course, be posting this on my Facebook page as well. And Rachel, is it okay if I put a link to your Facebook page as well?
Sure. Yep, sure.
Great. All right. Thanks so much.
All right, have a great day.
Thank you.